So, this is what a library hall looks like when you are building your own geography curriculum, you are expanding on your science curriculum, your oldest is doing a research paper, and you also wanted a few books that you actually just wanted to read. So, fairly massive library haul this week. But I am very glad that we have the library because we have access to all of these books.
Hey y'all, welcome to the family that reads a lot. Just kind of wanted to come and talk to y'all today and just talk through something that I've been realizing kind of about myself, I guess, but also just in general about my reading habits and curious what y'all's habits are like on this. So, by the title of the video, I'm sure you'll see, I'm going to talk about why I don't have a TBR. So, most YouTubers, booktubers, really, I mean, book talkers, all of them, it's always this giant TBR. And when I started booktube, I was like, okay, well, I have a TBR, but do I need to like solidify it or whatever? And I really got to where I was trying to set myself with a TBR. And within a couple months, I realized that that is not me. I realized one, that unless I know I am going to love a book, I am better off not purchasing books. And I will tell you why. So, last month went and got a big chunk of books from the library and was setting myself up to read all these books. So, I had a couple that I needed to read for my son for school. I had a couple that I was looking forward to reading. I had a couple that were like, I felt like moody, Halloweeny type books, and I was so excited for the mood reading. And then it got really hot here again. We had what we call false fall in Texas. It's a week where it's nice and cool and cloudy. And I was so excited for fall. And then it got hot. And let me tell y'all. So, this was one that this is Iceberg by Jennifer Nielsen. I had read two of her books and I was like, okay, I really enjoyed those. I think I'm going to read this for my son. Nope, I don't want to read it. Nevermore, kind of spooky, kind of Halloweeny vibes slash fantasy vibes, all of the things. Nope, I don't want to read it. The Curse of Spectacle Key, same thing, Halloween, spooky vibes. Nope, I don't want to read it. Y'all, that's three books, and there's a couple that I've already returned to the library that I got out and have no interest in reading. None. Just, I read a couple fantasy books. And I don't know if maybe I didn't love them. I loved, like, I liked them. They were okay, but I didn't love them. I don't know if I just needed a break from that or if it was the weather change or what, but I'm just out of that mood. I'm out of the fantasy. I'm out of the spooky mood. We decorated for Halloween. Like, you can see that I'm in the mood for that, like Halloween wise, but I'm not in the mood for that reading wise. So I also got out this book, which is Death Overdue by Alison Brooks, or Alison Brooke, not Brooks. It's a haunted library mystery. I actually got it out because if you look, it's got pumpkins and witchy cat stuff all over it. This is a cozy mystery. Um, I grabbed it like kind of just, I don't know, I think I was just wandering and maybe they had it on an end cap or something, like highlighting it for Halloween. And I grabbed it and I started reading it and I was like, oh, I'm in the mood for cozy mysteries. Huh, didn't know that. I haven't read cozies in probably a couple years. I used to read cozies. There's quite a few back here on the shelf. I used to get in moods for it, but then I really got away from it and went way more deep into fantasy, into and if you watch some of my early videos, over the summer, I was super into like hiking and national park type mysteries and stuff like that. And then I got into fantasy, and then I got into this. And so I went to the library the other day and got the second one in the series and the third one in the series, and another author, Victoria Gilbert, which this is a Blue Ridge Library mystery. So it was another library cozy mystery thing. And I mean, this is one, two, three, four hefty books, which let's see for an experiment. Um, yeah, this is a $25 book. So I would have just spent like over $100 on books because my interest changed. And now, granted, I don't usually buy my books new anyway. However, just that shift to something else, and I could have had stacks of books. Oh, this is another one I was going to pre read for my daughter, The School of Good and Evil. Now, I did pre read a little bit of this, decided it was definitely not for her, but it's not for me either. No interest in finishing it. Um, so, all of these are going to go back to the library completely unread. And all of these have come to me in a whole new phase. And so if I was trying to follow a strict TBR and read books, this is where I've always gotten into a reading slump. And I'm realizing that because I used to always buy books. I used to not utilize the library nearly as much as I do now because I wanted books on my shelf. I wanted to go grab them and read them and all that. And I'm realizing that that was part of my problem with reading because I would get into a series and I would read a bunch of books in the series. And then I would either get to the end of the series and there was no more, or I'd completely burn myself out on it and then try and continue. And I didn't want to read it anymore. I wanted something different. I wanted something fresh. I was reading it because I'd already maybe bought the next two or three books. And I did that not that long ago because up here are the next two books in a series, a Craig Johnson series, the Longmire series. Read the first one, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's great." Bought book 2, 3, and 4. Read book 2. I don't want to read it anymore. I'm not saying that I'll never want to read it, but my interest changed. My feeling for the year changed on what I wanted to read and what I wanted to get into. And so I'm curious if anybody else has, like, I don't know what you would call it, like TBR, ADHD or something, or ADD. I don't know, because now looking back, I've seen that I've done this before. It's just I would always try and force myself to read those books. And because I've been using the library more and purposely not purchasing books, I don't feel as tied into that TBR. I don't feel like I have to read those things. And I think this is just a lesson that I've learned as I've partly, I think it's because of y'all, because of putting videos out and things like that. I'm more aware of my reading shifting because it's kind of obvious, because it's like, oh, well, I was doing a ton of stuff on these books and then all of a sudden I jumped here and now I'm jumping over here. And I'm hoping that I'm still a good channel for some of y'all, because most people, I don't feel like jump around this much. I feel like people either love romance or they love mystery or they love fantasy or something. And I feel like in the last 6 months, I have jumped all over the channel here, all over the world as far as books. Um, but anyway, I just found it interesting. I've got my little TBR up here right now, and honestly, I think most of those books are going to go away. There's a couple up there that I need to read for the kids. Green Glass House, I've purposely been holding on to until it gets cold, because it is a cold type thing. I still very much want to read that one. But right now, I'm into cozies, and I think I'm just going to embrace that and enjoy it, and realize don't go out and buy because this series I think is very long. I'm not going to go out and buy the whole series because I can already tell you I'm halfway through. I think I'm halfway through, not quite halfway through, but I'm well into book two. And some of the stuff with cozies is starting to wear on me a little bit. And it's like, oh no, am I shifting again? And I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. Who knows? But so basically, I came here to wonder if I'm the only person who's like this. Am I the only person who shifts from series to series or author to author or complete shifts like I've been doing from genre to genre of books? And if I'm not, I'm curious if sometimes you feel locked in by your TBR. Sometimes you feel like I made this TBR at the beginning of the month, or I purchased these books however long ago. I have to read them because they're here. There's a lot of like read your bookshelf challenges and stuff out there. And I do want to do that to an extent because there are some books on my shelf that it's like love it or leave it kind of thing. Like I need to either read this or get it off my shelf. And I don't know. It's different. It's this is kind of a self awareness thing that suddenly happened to me. So, like I said, I was mostly coming here to get y'all's opinion. I'm curious. Do y'all jump around like this? Are you strictly a mystery reader? Are you strictly a romance reader? Whatever the case is, do you stick to one genre and that's it? Or do you feel random shifts like with the holidays, with, okay, it's getting close to fall, I want to read cozies, or it's getting close to Halloween, I want to read spooky, or I definitely have mood reading that I go into. There are certain books that I try and, or not try, but that I enjoy rereading during certain seasons. Um, Stuff like that. But like I said, just I'm curious. Are y'all like this? Do you jump around? Do you have focus that I don't have? Let me know if you do a TBR. If you don't do a TBR, what your thoughts are. And we'll see you soon on some of the things we've been reading, some more fun random videos. I'm hoping that it actually is going to cool off very soon and that we will be able to go out and hike and do all the fall things because I am ready. I am ready to get out there and enjoy fall. It's just Texas puts us off for a little bit and we don't get to enjoy it quite as early as everybody else does. So, thanks, and y'all go read a lot.